So I came up with the title Ebony of Hearts because ebony is almost like the word cookie. I came out with a book called Cookie back in 2011. In the 70s, cookie was like the nickname that a beautiful black woman had. And ebony is not only is a color, it can kind of represent a color, but it also can represent a black woman. And arts, of course, is creativity. And that's where the ebony of arts came from. It was important for me to kind of just explore this space of women that look like me, that dare to dream, that dare to say, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. And I wanted to show them in a beautiful light. So this is why we do beautiful portraits, because what makes them ebonies is not just what they look like and not just because of their sex, but it really is because of the character.
Being a part of Ebony of Arts means that someone saw me as the asset that I know I am, and someone sees my value because they see that what they're doing is impacting the world, that whatever I speak on this platform plants a seed in someone else who also watches this platform. It's all a part of me.
For someone to recognize things in you and want you to be a part of their event.
It's really great to be a part of a collaborative of amazing women.
And a lot of these women I choose every year is because I see something in them that needs to be celebrated and amplified and recognized. And so with Ebony of Arts, it's just another notch on my belt of creating safe spaces for people to be celebrated and to build connections.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 stars are leaping,
11 drummers drumming,
10 ladies dancing. That's the problem. You don't have a choice.
one thing I didn't do was
It don't matter. The fact that you gotta start the sentence with the only thing I didn't do. Does he not get that? The only thing I didn't do. That's the point.
Yeah.
Get out, man.
yeah, I mean, I argued because she never give me credit for what
I didn't.
Okay.
What is? How my journey with being a parent evolved, I would have never even guessed that. I would have never said that was going to happen a day in my life where I would not enjoy being married, where I would not enjoy being a mother.
We're at my crib, just chilling. We're gonna let y'all see this flood at Christmas.
You know, we tried real hard to do this just right, but no, they wouldn't let us. They just wouldn't let us. We wanted this to be perfect, but you know. Hey. Delphi. Delphi.
Make a face, Debbie.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I hope that everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You guys ate really well. There was no family drama and things going on, and it all really worked out. I'm excited about tonight. It's part one to me talking about having a creative plan. But for those that are not familiar with me, I want you to,
know a little bit about me. So I have authored 17 novels, 5 nonfiction projects. I published nearly 400 titles in my publishing career. Launched my independent publishing house at the age of 21. I have been a full-time entrepreneur since the age of 23. And I was a teen mom to CEO, so excited about that. Now, at the lovely age of 38, I have been a producer of events and films and experiences for 15 years. I have worked with or amplified well over 10,000 writers in my creativepreneur journey. I have honored the literary legends such as Terry McMillan, Nikki Giovanni, Eric Jerome Dickey. Oh my God, I'm drawing blanks. Zane, Wahida Clark, Mayor Monroe, Mayor B. Morrison. This past year, I honored Rodney Barnes. Who else did I honor? Stacey Abrams, Kennedy Ryan. It was just a number of different people, and I've honored hundreds of people. 2009 actually. And so the reason why I stepped into this space of being a creative, which is funny, let's take it back a little bit, because I started using the word creative in 2010. And I never heard anybody use it before, but I started putting it out there into the atmosphere because I wanted people to understand that creatives were artists, specifically those of the written word. And sometimes we're not being acknowledged that we are creatives as well. So I started utilizing that word back in 2010 to kind of kick down those doors that I have been kicking down for creatives for well over a decade. I wanted creators to have their books published in mass quantities. I wanted more Black writers to have their books published. I wanted their books to be acquired and become films. And a lot of my work started with just creating conversations around our books. It wasn't being done the way that I was doing it. And I have been blessed enough to be in this space now for 15, 16 years. Adweek called me the Shonda Rhimes of Black publishing in their 21 issue, simply because I have opened the door and paved the way for thousands of writers, a lot of writers that you read and know today. And how I've done that is I've created conversations around their books. I've offered up book reviews. I've built a literary empire where I have a number of different creatives and strategists and designers and project managers and people that work with me for my company, AANBC and Delphi Legacy Media. And I have now stepped into films. I do a lot of production, manage a lot of different writers. I just do a number of different things. So what I have been seeing now over the past several years, few years, I'm not say several, but a few years, is that the space has become super saturated. Everybody named mama is putting out a book. Everybody named mama is calling themselves a creative. Everybody named mama has the desire to create full time. They want to leave their 9 to 5. They want to know what it feels like to control their days. And because I have lived that since I was 23, I have not worked a job, y'all, since I was 23. And I have been able to reinvent myself, either stay relevant, stay consistent, or and obviously keep some income coming in. Since I was 23, and I was a baby, and I was a baby with 2 children when I had did that. My children weren't even over 10 years old, not even close to being 10. When I dropped out of college, I quit my job, and I started writing and publishing. I continued writing and publishing full time because, again, I started at 21. So the purpose of this conversation that we're going to have tonight, and I want you guys to be interactive with. You are watching live. You can comment on Facebook as well as YouTube, and you can ask your questions in the comment box, because I want to hear from you. Of course, if you have questions, I'm here to answer it. And I'm also going to be launching what's called a Traces of You. It's a self-discovery workshop series. This is very important for artists, creatives, entrepreneurs to be connected and know exactly who they are. Because without knowing who you are, you kind of get lost in the sauce, essentially trying to relate to other people, trying to mimic other people, create these or kind of force connection between you and your consumers or you and your audience. And so we want to do that. You really want to know who you are. You want to kind of be healed up so that you can grow up and explore the world that you would like, without being emotionally stifled, without being broken and lost, without being confused and vulnerable, without being naive. So Traces of You is my 7-week course curriculum that I'm going to be teaching starting at the new year. So you all can now actually begin to start registering for that today. So again, that's a little bit about me. I do have some notes because I want to make sure that I do not get lost during this conversation with you guys. I do want you guys to grab your pen and paper also and write down your notes and things that you may have, things that you may want to take note of. And I want you just to take heed to some of these things that I share with you. It's very important to have a creative plan, not just a creative plan, but a plan in general. Anything that you're trying to do or that you're attempting to do, you need to have a plan. Think of it. You won't get into a vehicle without knowing where you're going. And then you always want to know that you're going the right direction because one, you want to get there on time. And nobody wants to get lost. And then you want to conserve energy, like your gas. And, so you want to make sure that you're setting up that plan and you know what direction you're going. So essentially, you need to apply that in life in almost everything that you do. So if you are listening live and you do not mind, shout out you are listening in from, and let me know what type of creative are you. Are you a screenwriter? Are you an author? So you write books. Are you a filmmaker? Are you a producer? Are you creating experiences like events? So just share it and let me know exactly what it is that you do so that we can also make sure that we kind of align this conversation with you. So first and foremost, again, grab your pen, make sure it's quiet in the back. This will be on demand and replay. And if you're not a part of the AAMBC Patreon, which is patreon.com/AAMBCINK, join that Patreon and you'll be able to see a whole bunch of workshops that we present on a monthly basis. So let's go into what I want to talk about, which is creating a plan. So first and foremost, you want to make sure you have your SMART goals. So we're going to break down those SMART goals. You want to define 5 key areas, right? And so let me move this in front of y'all so I can make sure I'm actually looking at you guys. So the 5 key areas that you need to establish or that you need to be aware of is building a vision. So you need to align your passion with a purpose. A lot of people want to accomplish things and do things, but not really aligning something and having a purpose behind it, you can get lost. Cut this off real quick. You can get lost and you can get sidetracked. So you definitely want to make sure that you align passion with purpose. And then you want to create a roadmap. So breaking down your big goals into small, manageable steps. So what that means essentially is you'll have someone that says, I want to put out a film. I hear that all the time. I want to put out a film. I want to adapt my book into a film. And that's awesome. That's great. But obviously there are steps that actually takes you actually putting out the film. So you need to think about what things do you need to have? What are the tangible steps? You need to have a script. To have a script, it needs to be written. You need to take some time to write the script. Once that script is done, then what? You want to think about the moving pieces or the type of people that you need to put together to make sure that the film actually comes together, such as producers. And your producers are going to manage different parts and things of the film, the financial parts, the legal parts, how to get the actors, et cetera, your locations, and then your film crew, like who's going to be filming it. So breaking those micro steps down will help you then to get to the bigger goal. You don't want to think about the end goal always, because it's going to overwhelm you. Because at the end of the day, naturally, you don't even achieve that big goal without achieving the smaller steps first. So think about that one big goal. What is it that you want to actually accomplish? And then begin to break down what you need to do to make that happen. Every step has a step, and those steps have a step, and those steps have a step. So begin to actually break those down to smaller steps. Now, setting your SMART goals means staying focused and being accountable. Being focused looks different. So there's no one way to actually share how to stay focused. So in my world, I would advise you to have a set schedule. I grew up as a PK kid, which is a preacher's kid, and they used to say cleanliness is next to godliness. So I like to say, and I apply that to goals and work and things like that, and just everyday life, and say organization is next to success. Without being organized, you being successful kind of falls short. So if you're not organized, if you don't have some structure going on in your day to day, you tend to be all over the place. So you can't do everything every day. I personally like to dedicate certain days for certain things. For me, Mondays, I don't do any phone calls. Mondays is set for getting prepared for the week. I'm responding to emails. I'm working on personal projects. I'm doing some outlining. I'm doing some writing. And then also during the rest of the week, there's certain days I don't do like interviews or team meetings or production phone calls. Like I set boundaries with the things that I want to do. I also have set days where I'm actually writing. I have days that I'm exercising. Like I have days where I am doing nothing. So having structure and creating a really good balance will help you be successful, and it will also hold you accountable. Because if you have this particular day that's set for a particular task or a particular goal, then you're more likely to meet that because this is the day that you're going to do it. You don't have to worry about any other days. Just get it out today. So being focused and having some structure and will really definitely help yourself stay accountable. So staying focused and being accountable. Now, you got to find your unique edge. So I never give generic advice. I don't like doing that. I like to ask questions and follow-up questions about this particular person's journey. Why do you want to accomplish this? Why do you want to do that? I'm always asking why and how and what and where and all that jazz. To really get down to the nitty, what overall are you wanting to accomplish and how we're going to get it done? So when you want to find your unique approach, it literally is, who are you? And so again, this goes back to my Traces of You workshop series that I am launching at the top of the year. You can go ahead and register. This is a limited time. I'm offering it at this price because it literally dives into the foundation of who you are. But once you understand the type of person that you are, you're able to then approach the world, your projects, marketing yourself effectively. You don't want to market yourself how anybody else is marketing yourself. You don't want to think about what other people are doing. You don't want to get lost in the sauce of just what other folks got going on. So understanding who you are, and you're approaching your social media that way, you're approaching your events that way, like you have a unique approach, because the beautiful thing about being you is, and there's like 8 billion people in the world or something like that, there's only one you. So that can never be duplicated. And that's what really makes you marketable. That's really what makes you unique. So once you figure out and have an understanding of who you are at the core and how you want people to receive you, how you want to speak, the type of interviews that you want to give, what you want your book covers or your films to look like, what color schemes that you want your website to look like, because colors have emotions connected to it. Once you have an idea, you really kind of thought about, who am I? It becomes a lot easier to go out into the world. You have to figure it out. You're just being yourself, and there's really no strategy to it. It's all about just being yourself and being consistent with that. Now, you want to build momentum over time around your books, and how you do that, you guys, is engagement. Also, it is with networking. It is creating relationships that's going to benefit you down the line. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that your network is your network is your net worth. Like your network is currency, meaning, and I use this as an example. I want to put out working on another film. I can lean on or reach out to friends that know how to set design, people that know how to create scripts, someone that's an actor, someone that can structure my script, that can break it down and break down the scenes. I know these people, and I can lean on them and say, hey, I have this going on. Can you do this? Or how much will it cost to do this and do that? And it may cost me nothing, or it may cost me less than what I would pay if I was a stranger. meaning I'm able to lean on and benefit from the people and the things that I know. So make sure that you're going out, and we'll talk about networking and all that jazz, because networking is a whole other beast in itself. There's a way in the science to actually network. So um, just knowing that is going to help you. And also building momentum is going to different events. You want to be active and engaging on social media. You want to be consistent with that. And I'm also not the best person to be like, hey, be active and be sociable online, because I'm literally like to be in my own little world. But I will engage. I will talk sometimes. I'll get out there and I'll post some things. But I'm not the person that's going to be at every event. I did that. There's a season of where you need to be everywhere, right? You need to talk to people, you need to shake hands, and you need to show up and support other people. Go to the things that they're doing. Repost their flyers, like root them on, give them encouragement, because you're going to want people to do that to you. Never be someone that just comes to the table and you're just taking. You always want to come to the table and you want to be like, hey, I brought this too. And I brought that. And so we can share, we can collaborate. So you always want to make sure that you're being the person that you want people to be to you. So that is literally the top things I want you to really process and think about when it comes to putting together your creative plan. Who are you, essentially? What is your overall goals? How can you stay structured and hold yourself accountable? And how can you continue to build your network and build momentum? So establishing those things and really kind of processing those things will really kind of help you understand how to outline and develop your plan. Now, again, you want to set the easiest way for me to explain this to you is you want to set your overall goal at the very top. And then you want to kind of start breaking down the steps to get to that goal, because those steps are going to identify smaller steps and then smaller steps. And then overall, at the end of the day, when you get ready to kind of look at your overall plan, you focus on those little steps one by one. You can't think about this overall goal until you accomplish those at the bottom. It makes it super easy to accomplish and get to. Before you know it, you have that film. Before you know it, you have that book. Before you know it, you went on that book tour. You went on that trip. Like, you set a goal, you set a plan. Like, all these things, when it comes to the things that you want to achieve, is all about creating realistic things and realistic plans that will not overwhelm you, that will not get you discouraged. I have witnessed a lot of creatives and dreamers over the years that have these goals and have these things they want to accomplish, and life happens, which is interesting because life is always going to happen. Someone may pass. You may lose some income. You may go through a breakup. Your child may be acting up in school. There may be some family trauma, drama, or something going on. Your work may require more of you, right? Just like every day, we would sit there and we will find time to eat, to sleep, and hopefully you're finding time to exercise. You can carve out an hour a week to write. You can carve out an hour a week to review that script that you're working on. You can carve out an hour a week to post or to engage on social media. It really doesn't take much to just do a little bit. And don't measure your little bit and compare it to other people. You may look at a colleague or someone else that's already in the industry like, man, I wish I could get there. But you don't understand the journey and the path that these people had to take to actually get there. And often when I see people thinking like that and they're looking at other people's threads, and first of all, social media, people allow you to see what they want you to see. But looking at people's journey will not only discourage you, but it's a distraction. I want to say a damn distraction, so I will. It's a damn distraction when you're looking at other people's journeys. If I were to tell you, and I know I started off this conversation by saying I've been an entrepreneur since I was 23. I launched my first company at 21. I haven't clocked in or worked a job in 15, 16 years. And you guys like, wow, I want to do that too. But what if I would have told you that while I was in it, I was in a horrible marriage. While I was in it, I had to raise my children on my own and figure out how to pay bills and travel and get us to this new city together because I didn't have nowhere for my children to go. Or how about I was putting out books
And I was in managing other authors or other projects that I was putting together this event. And then sometimes I was being talked about like I was a dog or a stray dog in the street. What if I told you like that was my journey? What if I told you that in the midst of that, before I actually started dreaming, I witnessed my own mother take her last breath? Or what if I told you that my own father denied me that experience of having a father? What if I told you that I had all these dramas and all these setbacks with my own children, but yet I've been able to live my dreams of creatively, like the things I wanted to experience as a writer, as a producer. I've been to countries like Jamaica and Iceland and Greece. Where else have I been? Oh, in Canada. And I'm getting ready to explore 2 new continents next year. And if I told you that it took all those things to get to this, would you still go my journey? Would you still go my path? Would you still say, well, I could lose my mother? Well, that's fine. I mean, I don't have to be close to my children. That's okay. I can go broke and figure it out. I can go hungry and figure it out. I can be depressed for a little bit and figure it out. Like, would you want to go my route to actually having the day-to-day life that you desire? I wouldn't put that on, maybe on some of my worst enemies, but not on most people. I wouldn't recommend that. So never look at somebody's success and be like, dang, I wish that was me. And then you start feeling down or you start feeling discouraged or you just start getting distracted. You want down a rabbit hole and you're looking at all these things that they got going on and you're wishing if that's you and you're trying to manipulate how you can do it. Don't do that. Again, what is your goal for 25? Let's stop thinking about life in general. Let's think about 25. I want you to identify just one thing for sure that you're going to accomplish next year. I don't want you thinking about 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line. What's one thing for sure that you're going to accomplish next year? Let's think about it. I want you to put it in the comment section if you can, because I want to kind of see what y'all got going on. Like just typing in one thing that you want to accomplish. Now, once you have written it out, and I wish I could show y'all my wall. I don't really want to show y'all everything going on here because it's a little messy. But I have these sticky notes. Like I have sticky notes that's sitting on my wall of things that I want to do. Also like affirmations, like I love myself, protect my children, bless my work. Like I have all these words around my rooms because I want these words to come back to me and speak life into me and the things that I want to experience, the things I want to actually have. So I want you to actually write it down. What are the things, not the things, but the one thing for sure? Because of course we probably have multiple goals, things that are personal goals, things maybe in your health, things, obviously in work, your finances, whatever the case may be. But right now we're talking about a creative goal. What's that creative thing that you're going to accomplish next year? Write it down. Once you have written that goal down, now I want you to process and think about what do you have to do to make it work? What are the things that you actually have to complete to make sure it actually happens? And you don't have to write it in order. Please don't write in order because I don't want you to get distracted. I want you almost like a brain dump. Just jot it down. Write it out. Whatever it may be, whatever's coming to mind, you got to do this, you got to do that. Just get it out. Dump it out. Once you get everything out, now it's time to put those things in order. You know for a fact that you can't put out a film without the scripts, or you can't put out the book without the manuscript. You can't, once the manuscript is written, it needs to be edited. Then once it's edited, it needs to be then, put into print format and so forth and so forth. And you may not know what the steps are. And if you don't know what the steps are, hello, that's why I come into play. You can hit me up. Ask me. I'll tell you. But right now are the things that you know that you need to do. And then we're going to put those things in order. And then once you put them in order, you got 12 months. Now, let's put them in realistic time frames. What can you do in January? What can you do in February, March, April, May, June, whatever the case may be, up until the time that for sure that you want to have this goal accomplished? Actually list out the things that you need to do month by month. And that's all you focusing on in that month. You're not focused on nothing else. You're not focused on the book getting published. You're not focused on the film coming out. You're focused on just writing. You're focusing on just editing. You're focused on whatever that case may be. That's all you need to be focused on in that moment. Then when you accomplish that, you mark it off. Okay, cool. What's next? Y'all, it's really that simple. It's you have to get to the point where you have to hold yourself accountable and be structured. Create a really good understanding and a timeline of what it is that you want to accomplish. And that's all you're going to focus on bit by bit is those little micro steps. Those micro steps will get you to the big steps. So with that being said, we're on our next conversation. We're going to go into how do you actually activate these steps and these dreams and these goals and these things that you want to establish. Again, I will be having my Traces of You, a self-discovery workshop series. Some of you may be lost. Some of you may be confused. Some of you may be discouraged. You may not know what it is that you want to overall accomplish or do. You may not even know how to get there. But one thing I do know is that without you having connection with who you are, without understanding how you need to actually get there, things tend to get cloudy. Things tend to get overwhelming. Things tend to get confusing. And so, like, I created this discovery map because our minds and creators, we could be so lost and so overwhelmed with so many things that we want to do. Dozens of things that we want to do, and we may get confused. And so you need to understand, like, who's in your circle, who can you trust, who can support you, how are you supporting yourself. And so we just break down these things to really make it very simple for you. Some of you may be unhealed and you may be walking around with baggage, and so you may be bitter, and your bitterness can distract you. Your bitterness can delay your blessings, and we don't really want those things to transpire and happen in 25. So we're going to actually talk about how can we begin to break down who we are. How can I discover exactly who I am and move past some of these things? And I actually created a whole textbook, y'all. It took me almost 2 years to make this book, Traces of You, which is available on tracesamika.com or amazon.com. I also have where I talk about being purposefully single, because some of y'all need to be single on purpose. Sometimes being in a relationship is a distraction. So this workbook really kind of breaks down and identifies why and how you can continue your purposefully single journey. Then you have to tap into your manifestation. Manifestation is all about what you say and how you think. So being intentional with the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to experience. So I actually have this manifesting your best life. And then last but not least, no, I have two more. I Forgive Me. Now, as I'm showing you guys these workbooks, these are actual things I actually lived through and worked through. They are inspired by my memoir podcast, Traces of Mika. And so I had to go through a moment in a journey of forgiving myself, acknowledging my wrongs and my faults and my own unhappiness, my own bitterness. And I put together some steps on how you can identify those things for yourself too and move past them. These are not workbooks that's just filled with blank pages, y'all. I actually talk to y'all in these books as well. There are personal messages and letters from me, and there's actual tangible steps that I implemented in my own journey to help you. And so lastly, I'm going to talk about the finding joy. You got to you have to be grateful for what you do have. You don't want to get caught up in the things that you don't have. You don't want to be thinking about your shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and Lord, why you do this. You got to really find joy in what you do have, and what you do have, especially if you're listening to me right now. You have breath in your lungs. You have life in your body. You have food in your belly. Even if you ain't a lot of food in the house, you ate something, right? And if you're sitting here watching them and you got a roof over your head, you may have a vehicle, you got gas in your car. There are a lot of things that you can be grateful for. And so with these projects, I took time, like Traces of You. This literally took me almost 2 years. But the rest of these, anywhere from 3 to 6 months, some even longer, to actually complete these workbooks, because I actually did the work. And I didn't want to put out generic information. I see a lot of workbooks that's being put out there, and they're super generic and they're filled with blank pages. Like, really, y'all? Come on. We're not about to do that. We're not doing that. These are actual tangible projects that you guys can actually use. So again, they're all available on tracesmika.com, or you can go to Amazon and just type them in, purchase them, call them a day. And when you register for this, you actually get a copy of the Traces of You textbook, which is this book here. So once you register for this workshop, you will receive this book. And this book is pretty thick. That's why I'm calling it a textbook, y'all, because it's a thick one. It's like 70 pages or something like that. And it's not of blank pages. It's of actual tangible exercises, questions, and things for you to reflect on, to work on. And there is a plan. This is where my curriculum and my workshop is designed based off of this book. There is a plan that helps you not only to self-love, but self-discover, and also continue to maintain the joy that you're building inside of you. I hope that you guys have kind of been listening. Not kind of, I hope y'all really have been listening, because I'm rooting for all of us to literally win. I want all of us to have the life that we desire, but honestly, without being self-aware, without having a plan, it's really hard to really establish those things and maintain those things. So I will be back on the 10th. So what's today, Tuesday? Yeah. Next Tuesday, we'll be back and we're going to talk about tangible things that you can actually do to make these things come true. And again, for 7 weeks, I will be presenting the Traces of You workshop. You just got to go to tracesmika.com to register. Click on shop. When you go to Traces of Mika, again, click on shop, and it will take you right to the workshop. You won't miss it. All right, y'all. I had fun. So I'll see y'all when I return on next Tuesday.
They're not going to let people like me be recognized. They're not going to let me in the room. Fuck it. I'm going to make my own room. I had all these dreams and things I wanted to do, and I wanted to basically be this published artist. I began to realize, wait, I gotta pull back. Because what am I looking for? What am I
Damn, is that good, Daphne? Yeah. Go take a little bit tiny bite. Like she just got the hospital. We got gas on.
I have Delphine's legacy on my shoulder. I say that because Delphine, first of all, is my mother, and I am her living legacy. As I kind of went through, family photos and things like that, my mother is sometimes not captured in these moments. And for her, she was that piece in my family that kept us aligned with who we are. My fondest memories of my mother would probably be us watching basketball.
Contribution tonight. Johnson hits the three.
When it comes to having those intimate, deep conversations, if it was not in church, we didn't really have a lot of those. But as far as spending time and being comfortable around each other, and I could be, my mother was my friend. That was my buddy. And even the last few years of her life, we talked every day, all day, several times a day.